how do you stay humble when you know you have better skill sets than others? And then he's saying that I seem humble with all that I've accomplished, which is actually, it's funny when I read that. Like, it's not. I'm sure that for the dude that's asking this question, he's thinking I accomplished all this stuff, and it's not. I don't feel that way. Like, first of all, there's always somebody that's better than you. I guarantee it. There's someone that's done more than you. There's someone that's had better experience. There's someone that's accomplished more. And if you are truly the master of something, whatever one thing you're a true master of, there's going to be people that are a lot better at other things than you. So you might be the master of one particular thing, but you have to respect the fact that people are going to be masters at other things or better than you. I mean, so if you're super strong, that's great. Let's see you run a marathon. If you're super flexible, awesome. How much can you deadlift? If you're smart, that's great. You're smart academically. Let's check out your common sense and see where all that's at. So you're going to be good at one thing, but you're going to have failed in other areas or have weaknesses in other areas. And so you just have to keep that in check. And I'll tell you, like, I recognize why I've been successful. For one thing, been surrounded with great people. For another, been lucky in certain situations that I've been in certain times. And, going back to jiu-jitsu a little bit, it's a good example because just because I can beat someone in jiu-jitsu, it doesn't mean that I'm a better person.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't mean that I'm a better person. What it means, basically, is that I happened to get into this random fringe sport before they did. And I spent more time on the mat than they did. That's what it means. It doesn't make me a better person. And I'll tell you what, it goes with, if you feel like you're smarter than someone, it's probably because you've had the opportunity to study a subject, or you've had a bunch of education on something, or you've dove into some subject, so that might make you seem smarter. Whereas if they applied themselves in that particular area, but guess what? They were applying themselves to something else. So, yeah, you got to stay humble with that. And also, when we talked about this, when you know what, I am smarter than this person. Well, guess what? There's still something that they're better at than you. And what is it? You might be smarter than them, but guess what? Maybe it's the guy we talked about earlier, where I'm smart as I can be. Guess what? This person can physically take me down and dominate me, and that's horrible. Or they're better at whatever, better athletically, or some people are really good craftsmen with their hands. I mean, there's so many different things that you can be skilled at. And if you start thinking that yourself, that you're better than other people, you're going to have issues, because in the long run, you want to stay humble, just stay alive. Because life will humble you. Life is hard. And if you're pushing hard and you're driving hard and you're trying to achieve a lot, you're not always going to win. I don't care who you are. You're going to get humbled. It's going to be hard. So many people that are successful, they've got some hard luck stories along the way of things that they had to push through and overcome in order to get there. They got humbled. And if you're winning every single time, then your goals aren't high enough. So step those up. So, I appreciate the kind of comment, but man, it's not hard to be humble when, you need to take, like, maybe someone, people always think, oh, he's a Navy SEAL or whatever. There's a lot of SEALs that are more badass than me, that done more deployments, that have gotten after it more than me. And I know that. That's awesome. I mean, good for them. They got after it. Good. So I don't feel like, I did more than everybody. No, there's no one like that. Yeah. There's no one like that. Even Mikey Thornton, who was SEAL, that won the Medal of Honor, awesome guy. He's a hero. But if he gets interviewed, I've watched a bunch of interviews, heard him talk. He's like, you got the Medal of Honor. He's like, it's not mine. It's my guys. You know, it's the guys I was with. It represents all. So there's a guy, like, who's going to be, if there's anyone in the world that could not be humble, maybe it's Mikey Thornton. But guess what? Mikey Thornton, he's as humble as they come. Because you know what? He also has been humbled by combat. Because he realized there's things that he tried to do that he didn't get done. There's lives he tried to save that he couldn't save. So there's no doubt, if you're living the right life, you're going to be humbled by it. And there's always, always, always going to be somebody that's better than you, that's done better than you. So just stay humble. And by the way, what does being cocky get you anyways? What does that turn you into? I talk about this all the time. What does overconfidence get you? You start cutting corners. You start slack. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So you got to stay humble. You got to stay hungry if you want to stay in the game. And believe me, you want to stay in the game. You want to stay in the game.